Martha embodies the true spirit of what's meant by a citizen.
She's a committed environmentalist.
She's an honest broker. She tells it like it is. You know where she's coming from.
Probably the most famous environmentalist in Alberta.
One of the few people who could really lead by example.
I see her as a Canadian icon, someone who's done so much for the province of Alberta.
Martha Kostuch is one of our true leaders in the environmental movement. She's been at it for decades on a volunteer basis. She commits a lot of time and energy, and she's effective.
Martha is committed, she's knowledgeable, she's tireless, she's principled, she knows what she wants, and she's an honest broker around her positions. So when you're dealing with Martha, you know what you're getting, and I think that really helps when you're looking at trying to find solutions on an interest basis.
Martha's philosophy is protection of the air, the water, and the land.
Environmental integrity, sustainability are critical values because it's in all of our interest to be able to do that. But the second part of that, she says, okay, now how are we going to actually achieve that? How are we going to move towards this objective?
When you think of managing the environment, you're managing it in a sustainable development kind of fashion. And I think Martha understands that all the pieces have to fit together to do the job right.
I'm probably one of the most powerful environmentalists I've ever met in terms of her ability to affect change.
Martha's always been an effective advocate because she's fearless about speaking her mind and forcefully using her strong personality to try to forcefully persuade others to a certain point of view.
She's always stood strong for what was important for the environment, and she's always looked for solutions to those problems, so has time and time again come up with the most amazing sort of regulations and laws that have made sure that the environment's gotten much cleaner since she's been around.
Securing the reductions of SO2 in the province. She was an early player and still involved actually in the Clean Air Strategic Alliance in its formation and ever since. She helped to create a framework in 2003 to manage air emissions for the electricity sector. She was a founding member of the Parkland Airshed Management Zone. She won a Supreme Court of Canada decision in 1992, much to the provincial government's chagrin, on water management. She served on the 2006-07 Alberta Oil Sands Review Committee. She served on so many environmental organizations, it's impossible to begin to name them. And she was instrumental in setting the national agenda for water issues some time ago, and she's still heavily engaged with that.
She has the most amazing skills to bring people together and to find solutions to problems, but also the most amazing strength to stand up for what she believes in the face of all odds. And I think that combination has made her an unbelievably effective environmentalist.
In one sense, she's like a terrier on the end of a rope. I mean, she is just steadfast, she's dogged, but she's completely fair, and she's open, and she's willing to listen, and she'll fight for her point of view, but she'll listen to you, and she will, from time to time, largely accept if you can convince her that there is a better way.
Her commitment is honest, and that's why I respected her.
Well, the first person just to say, wait a minute, we have to hear these voices over here. We have to allow these other people to have their points of view being heard as well, even if she doesn't agree with that.
I've watched her walk into a room with the Energy and Utilities Board, like all of the board members sitting around the table, and many Angos as well, and she came in and she hugged every single person around the table, board member Ango, board member Ango, and it's amazing because you can feel the warmth that she brings to everyone around the table, regardless of what we're going to sit down and talk about afterwards. And I think that honestly is her charm, that she makes everyone love her regardless of whether you agree with her or not.
People like Martha are the people who can really make a difference there. They can take on major issues, and with her reputation, people realize that if she's their opponent, she's a formidable opponent.
If I had one word to describe Martha, it would be integrity.
The hard work and the way she does her homework.
It was an integrity and a commitment to the process and being very open with everybody.
One thing I would say Martha carried in truckloads was integrity.
She's absolutely consistent in her philosophy, in her worldview, and how she treats others, in in her respect for other people and for the environment. And I think that incredible consistency about her has given her a kind of inner peace with herself and an ability to continue to drive hard for the environment over the course of her entire career.
And she's a tremendous person in terms of process. I mean, she's a person that I think always goes into a situation knowing the bottom line of what she wants out of it, and she achieves it.
I don't think Martha compromises in the sense of her values. She compromises on how you can get things done. So she's a pretty practical kind of person. But having a clear view of the future and what it should like in Alberta and all the wonderful things that we have here and across Canada, I think is really the reason that she commands respect. She can't be bought off by anybody. She's not beholden to anybody other than her values.
She was a bit of a coach and a mentor for, I think, many people who've been involved in the CASA collaborative process in how we can work in that way.
What you see is what you got. She always looked at issues, not people. So although she may disagree with someone, she would still respect them as a person. She would still deal with them on a personal level. But when it came to her issues, she was ungiving. She set her standard. She expected to be met, but she never personalized it. And if that's one thing I've learned from her is to fight issues, not people.
She would always challenge me if she felt that our organization wasn't living up to some of our commitments that we made at the CASA table, and that was good and helpful. And I think it's really important that we implement the work that comes out of there.
I mean, all of us have a certain amount of hypocrisy in things that we have to do in our everyday life. Martha has none of that. Martha is absolutely consistent in her worldview, in the way she treats others, in the way she views the environment.
I don't think anyone can match what she has done.
The phenomenal legacy that's going to live on for hopefully decades.
So she really empowered people to try and not to be afraid to fail and to stretch themselves.
Everybody pulling together in the same direction.
The biggest part is the work she's done in defining that consensus model so that we can work in a collaborative sense. I think, if you understand everybody's perspective and try to find solutions, in some cases, the solution is better than the expectation that each of the individual parties had. And I think that's one of the real legacies of the work that Martha has done.
There are probably about 2,000 or 3,000 other people who feel the same way about it as I do. That they can look back and tell their children and grandchildren about what they helped to accomplish with Martha, and they're proud of that.
I think Martha's legacy for me is to continue to work the networks, to work with government, to work with industry, and to try to develop those long-term relationships which will make fundamental change in the way business is done across this country and here in Alberta.
Martha's legacy will be the contribution that she's made to Alberta's environment.
And there's no place where people actually will come together and solve problems the way we do here in Alberta. And I think Martha has a great deal to do with why that is the case.
I think her legacy is one of hope for the province. Of course, we continue to see large-scale development, but we also see now quite a bit of resistance building up, particularly among landowners who I think is the result of some of her wins, really believe that they do have some rights. The standard of things was, well, if we want to have industry move into an area, they'll throw a coffee party and invite a bunch of people to tell them what they're going to do. Those days are gone, and thank people like Martha for the fact that they are.
We have to get back to what are our fundamental values, what are the quality things in our life that we want to maintain and get back to: air quality, water quality, good land, wildlife. That's her clear vision of the future. It doesn't mean to say no to economic growth. It means redirecting our growth into the quality areas.
I think she's just achieved so much, not just in terms of air, but in terms of wilderness, in terms of water issues.
And it's really, in my mind, what makes Martha an amazing person is that she's so selfless and is always looking out for all of us. It's amazing.
She's one of the few people in environmental policy circles on a national level who is instantly recognized by a single word, Martha.